Welcome back. Still tuned in to Salam Media. The time is 17 minutes past 9 in a very kind of gloomy and grey Thursday. But yeah, we make do. Supposed to be summer. It's supposed to be warm, but it is not. So we move. We're going to be having another interesting conversation. And this one is from a statement that has sparked intense debate. Minister in the presidency, Khumbudzo Ntshavheni, has taken a hardline stance on South Africa's ongoing illegal mining crisis, referring to thousands of Zamazamas that are trapped underground. Ntshavheni declared the government would not be aiding them, vowing instead to smoke them out. This remark has drawn mixed reactions, with some applauding the firm approach against illegal mining, while others criticize the statement as a disregard for human rights. In this next clip that we'll be playing next, we'll be listening to Khumbudzo Ntshavheni and her making those, I think, controversial statement about smoking human beings out. Listen to this.
We're not sending help to criminals. We're going to smoke them out. They will come out. We're not sending help to criminals. Criminals are not to be helped. Criminals are to be persecuted. We didn't send them there. And they didn't go down there for the good benefit or good intentions for the Republic. So we can't help them. Those who want to help them, they must go and take the food down there. They will come out. We'll arrest them.
Yeah, quite controversial statement there. Khumbudzo Ntshavheni, Minister in the presidency, came out really, really strong there. But we'll be tackling this issue with a very, very good friend of the station, Hassen Lorgat. He's an activist that is, quite close to us here at the station. And we want to chat to him. He's a social justice activist who works in extra activism work. And he'll be helping us just to unpack the human rights implications of the government's position on this and some of the community's courageous efforts to save their own. Hassen, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Salam Media. Really controversial statements coming from the minister in the presidency, Khumbudzo Ntshavheni. What do you make of this? What's your reaction to government's decision to not provide assistance to the trapped Zamazamas? And what do you think it signals generally about the stance on illegal mining here in South Africa?
Thank you, Salailo. Yeah, I have for the last 14 odd years worked with mining and extractivism, basically the ideology that sees the extracting of mineral resources and other natural resources from our country for export, which left many of our communities downtrodden, continue to be downtrodden and poor. So as regards this statement, I think that Minister Khumbudzo has a nice way of putting things, and it lends itself to TikToks. But on the 2nd of November, the acting National Commissioner of the Police Services, Lieutenant General Shedrick Sibiya, basically praised Vala Umgodi for what we have done in Northwest Province. So this has been going out all over. And there in the Northwest area, 225 so-called illegal miners resurfaced, right? What is important from that particular discussion is that the same ideology, right, that the state wants to use kragdadigheid. I use the Afrikaans word because it reminds us of the time where people chose to use power instead of reasoning and negotiation, and also ways of trying to find solutions to very complex problems. In fact, he basically spoke about the numbers of people that they arrested, the monies they recovered, right? And we are not backing down, CBS said, until all those illegal miners resurface and are arrested. Now, it is no different from what Ntshavheni is saying. The majority of those arrested, inclusive of South Africans, the media said, are Mozambicans and Basotho nationals. Now, the question is quite clear. This is not a foreigner problem. It's an issue that many miners that have the skills and many people that are poor, and of course there are elements that are suspect, have got into an area where the state has failed to close mines properly, right? I think there may be one closure certificate in the history of mine closures in this country, or recently I also read there maybe even be 10, right? Why is it so difficult to close mines? When the Minister Kombuza speaks the way she does, she must know the law. When you want a mine in this country, you go to do prospecting, you get a mining license, and you make sure, after interrogation by the authorities, the regional manager, they check whether what are the plans when the mine will close, what is the life of the mine, how will waste be dealt with. It starts before the mine starts. Now you come at the end of the day, when you have 6,100 ownerless and derelict mines, you start shooting the victims of this process. Where are the companies? Where are the officials that have been neglected and derelict in their duties, right? They just basically ran away. They're like the derelict mines. Where are they? Where are the authorities that have failed to do this work? And I know why the mines are not closed properly, because the minister has said, not this minister, Gwede, has said it is very costly to close mines. Very costly. And he said in Gauteng, to close mines may take 17 years. So why are you blaming the victims? That is the question I'm asking. There is a real issue. In some cases, Zamas terrorize communities. That is true. But there's also an issue of mining that takes place by artisanal miners. They have to regulate these points, but they're coming late to show power now. For me, the issue that galls me, right, with Kumbuzo, the thing that galls me, where she uses words like, basically, we will smoke them out, starve, or surrender. Now, the word them out is not original. It was used in 1593, right? Of course, the Bushes used it in the Wars of Terror. And of course, every day we see it on our TV screens, courtesy of Gallant and his mafia Zionists there, where they're basically ongoing Zionists, where they're starving people in Gaza. That is the memory that hinders us. That is the memory that we see every day repeated. And she uses the word callously in front of our screens, as if she's not a South African.
Quite concerning. But one thing that I find really, really interesting is we know that, these abandoned mines are they're existing, they're people, they're underground. Why isn't South Africa taking more steps in making sure that artisanal and subsistence mining is something that's, part of our daily lives? The rest of the world is doing it. Even our neighbors in Zimbabwe, they seem to, have cracked the code where it's not that difficult to just, mine, whether it's from, old mining fields or whatever, you find. But here in South Africa, there seems to be so much bureaucracy and red tape that it's almost impossible, for millions and millions of unemployed people to survive through mining, which, is South African resources that all of us should be benefiting from.
Yeah, you see, Slido, this discussion in South Africa, which is a mining regime that runs probably over 130, 40 years, right? Many of our people are getting involved at the scrap end of mining. Artisanal mining shouldn't just come in around looking at waste and how to deal with mine dumps and how to pick up what is left over in these mines. They should have a right to have small-scale mining, decentralized mining, which may give a lot more employment to people and be more sensitive to the environment and to the people. So the issue is not at this point, because even at this idea of the getting involved with what the big bosses left is a problem. But I agree with you that the legalization, the recognition, which is currently in the pipeline and is going rather slowly, is the way to go. When I believe in 2010, when they were preparing for the World Cup here, Gauteng governments and others had meetings with people to see how to deal with these ownerless and derelict mines. All of a sudden, I heard in a seminar a week ago, owners of these mines came up because they thought, oh, there's compensation, there's money, there's what. There must be some responsibility in chasing after those people who were the owners of those mines. Some of them ran away for being in debt. Others simply left there. It was not so profitable for them. And these guys are finding, and the syndicates are finding profits. And there's a big discussion that we need to have, is whether these people who are mining now there are not selling their goods, right? Produced under very, very tough conditions, right? Using mercury and other minerals that have been outlawed to sell to the official miners, right? There is that discussion. But when you have Kumbuzo and just coming hard on the victim, right? Coming hard on the small guys. This is what's happened in our democracy. She does not read the lessons of history correctly. They beat up the small guys. They don't beat up government officials for not doing their work, because these mines by law ought to have been closed.
How much of her sentiments do you think is rooted in xenophobia and Afrophobia? Because generally the term zamazamas is a connotation that it's usually foreigners. We usually perceive our brothers from Mozambique, from Zimbabwe, from Malawi to be the ones that are underground. Just, from a subconscious point of view, do you think that sentiment was, these are not South Africans, they're subhuman, and, well, we'll smoke them out?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Zama are those who are, I guess, trying to scrape a living from what has been left over. So they are trying. From isiZulu, from Zaman. Now, I think her point is more to show, to respond to the criticism, because she's a minister in the presidency, to respond to the allegation, the insinuation that the president is a dilly-dallyer, that he doesn't take decision, he's not strong, right? That we will smoke them out, sounding like Rambo. I mean, just totally wrong. It is not in keeping with the sentiments that we are portraying in the world and being respected for internationally, for standing up for people who are being bullied and far away from the world, killed, annihilated, ethnic cleansed. And it's that sentiment that she fails to read. For me, she's trying to show she's strong, she's in the mold. In fact, I'm trying to write a poem. I'm saying Kumbuza thinks she's bold, but she sings from the fascist mold.
And I think we're going to leave it on that note. Hassen, thank you so much for chatting with us on this. And I think it's a really concerning turn of events, that requires more attention than it is actually getting. I think you can't just come on public platforms and say you'll smoke human beings out. It should be unacceptable, and there should be, a lot of outrage with regards to that statement.
Thank you very much. She violates the Constitution when she opens her mouth.
Definitely. Hassen Lorgat, social justice activist there, having quite an interesting conversation with us regarding those sentiments by Kumbuzo Ntshavheni around South Africa, the South African government potentially assisting those zamazamas that have been trapped out in the northwest, almost 4,000 of them, and they're underground, they remain trapped. Police has blockaded the cutoff of essential food and water supplies, and the government maintains it will not intervene, citing the need to address illegal activity firmly. But you can still do that. You can deal firmly with illegal activity without being inhumane about it. People can still get arrested. They can get persecuted if they broke any kind of laws. But coming on a public platform and just saying, we'll smoke them out, they'll come out. Eventually, they'll be thirsty. Eventually, they'll be hungry. And that's when they'll come out and just like cockroaches, will scramble them up, round them up, and put them in vans and arrest them. It's democratic South Africa for you. Going to take a quick break. When we come back, News and Views continues.
We are here in the middle of a Zahra neighborhood. The whole neighborhood is already destroyed. More than 17 towers are down. Here, as you can see, the firefighters trying their best to help. The people are still under the rubble. A lot of the people
Join Hamza on his exclusive South African tour as he shares his personal experiences, never-before-seen footage, and powerful insights on the ongoing genocide in Gaza. This is more than just a talk. It's an invitation to witness Gaza through the lens of Hamza Sha'alan. Don't miss this opportunity to meet the photojournalist who brought Gaza's pain and perseverance to the world in its darkest moments. Follow Salam Media on social media pages for more on this tour and be part of the conversation.